Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've got a juicy one for you today because CIG have put out a new Alpha 4.5 patch. Teased that they've got an experimental feature they want to start testing soon. They've been addressing some major issues with 4.5 as well, with the cones of death issue. Let's jump into it and talk about what's going on. Luminalia starts today. Possibly by the time you've seen this video. CIG's Niku said, on Wednesday we're kicking off the Luminalia festivities, and yes, the Luminalia calendar with daily gifts will be making a return, so don't miss out on your chance to claim your free goodies. Check back each day to get some more free goodies from the Luminalia page when it's up. It'll be skins and clothing and flair, stuff like that. Let's talk about some Alpha 4.5 updates. Yesterday, there was a message of the day. We're currently putting together a new 4.5 build for potential PTU published later today, with further shield health increases, armor penetration values, and cone updates, scanning updates, and experimental feature, ? And more. So this was later followed by the original build ran into some crashes, so was Redlit. We have a fix in the works, but we'll have to hold off on certain experimental stuff till later in the week. This does suggest live for next week for 4.5, and at the very least, not to this week. And a little bit after that, we had a new PTU patch coming out. CIG did say, still with this patch, doesn't contain all of the intended features, obviously, and the testing and feedback focuses stability and bug fixes, engineering, armor, ship balance, repair speed, and RMC will be greatly increased in tomorrow's PTU. Vulcan renderer and graphic settings updates, physicalized helmets, snub fighter and interceptor balance passes, the racing pass as well, persistent universe, loot refresh and collector rebalance, and additional hairstyles. There's quite a bit that they're testing at the moment, and we have some engineering updates in the patch as well. So shield health has been increased and balanced for all shield component sizes and types. They've adjusted engineering screens to go directly to the main display when interacted with. They've added fire as a state for components on engineering terminal pips. Doors can now be locked open, so proximity won't trigger. That's actually a really good little update. They've added resistance to power plants to delay their death compared to other components. They've returned space drags to ships so they don't float on forever after being disabled. They've reduced fuse damage overall for all ships. That's great. And made fuses immune for single-seaters. Yeah, I think that's probably what you want. With a single-seater ship, you want probably no fuses. You probably want, to be honest, you want them to go, yeah, with a single-seater. The power network in the ship does not need fuses to support all of its power output. That might not always be true, but I like that idea. But making them immune, yeah, fine. We'll see how that shakes out, because that might be a great idea. That might be a terrible idea. This is some of the more important changes coming up. Penetration value balancing update to reduce penetration distance and reduce radii of the damage cone. This is quite an important one. It addresses the cone of death problems. Let me explain really roughly how all the sort of damage works from ship weapons and all that sort of jazz. So energy weapons, they don't go through shields. Ballistic weapons have partial penetration of shields. All weapons have armor penetration. Armor, different to shields. Armor has its own health, is on the hull of a ship. When a weapon hits the hull of a ship, they might cause damage to a component based on the angle of fire, the armor there, what you're actually hitting. The armor sort of protects against the penetration of the weapon, but you're trying to destroy the juicy components inside. There is an issue though, because the projectiles also have a radius that they hit in. So CIG having issues balancing that radius and the cones of fire that projectiles hit in, because you hit somewhere on a ship and it's basically like a huge amount of splash damage. You hit all the components, probably not intended, and some ships can just be hit a couple of times in an area. They're disabled, all the components are destroyed or nearly destroyed. It's not really intended. So yeah, CIG are trying to address that at the moment. It's a bit of a focus. I suspect it's going to need a lot more love and attention. There's a huge amount of balance that is going to be needed for this patch and beyond. It is not going to be perfect on live launch, unfortunately, and they're probably going to need to hotfix it a few times, balance it well beyond 4.5. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and I know a lot of people were having a very bad time with engineering on large and medium-sized ships because they were just getting like one shot or taken out very quickly, and it's probably because of that. There's a scanning update as well. Made caves and harvestables show up via scanning. They've increased the range at which FPS minables show in scanning. There's new marker config for harvestables and ground mining as well. The Perseus and Idris have been nerfed for their ballistic damage. So I believe this is the size 8 weapon on the Perseus. the damage was 8,500, now it's 5,400, and the ammo count's been reduced from 2,700 to 900. Size 7 weapon, I believe, on the Idris was 6,750, down to 4,000 damage, and the ammo count is down from 951 to 800. That makes me sad as a Perseus owner. I love the Perseus. I'm fine with them doing a load of balance, though. We'll see how it all shakes out in the future. Not too worried about general balance at the moment. I just want the game to be as playable as possible and for players not to be one-shot by stuff and not be able to play or just be generally unfun. Individual ships, yeah, power them up later. Give them a bit of a tweak. Ares Ion, very powerful at the moment, it seems. Anyway, the Pulverizer LMG has had a bit of a nerf as well. They've lowered the damage from 31 to 27. They've raised the aim time from 0.4 to 0.46 of a second. The magazine mass is increased to 2.2 from 1.6, and the weapon mass is now 18 from 12. They've adjusted the aim recoil to fall more consistently and increased the vertical recoil as well. Load of bug fixes in the patch. Ships not being destroyed when their power plant was critical. PDTs were lagging behind targeting ships and sort of missing. Fires were spawning in areas that could not be reached. They made some fixes for external cargo or freight elevators. Quantum travel would stop shortly after starting, and they fixed a load of client crashes and server crashes. They're also working on fixing distribution centers, which is good because they had lots of problems. Engineering and combat is going through lots of iterations and balance tweaks. CIG's Niku said on engineering, "Hey folks, thanks again for all the feedback on engineering and combat. It's been incredibly helpful for the team and is actively guiding the balance work for 4.5. We've brought your top questions to the developers, and balancing is in full motion, with several updates already being prepared for upcoming PTU builds. Ships were going down too fast from power plant critical states, leaving no time for engineers to react. Fixes have been submitted to make this less frequent, as we've already seen in this patch. Repair speed felt too slow. It's already been tripled, and further adjustments are on the way. We will keep an eye on it with additional data and your feedback to avoid making repairs too strong." And too long? Too long and too strong. So they want to increase the longevity of a well-managed ship in combat if it's got engineers. They don't want it to be impossible to take down. It's a balancing nightmare for CIG getting this right, and they need to get it right. Anyway, going back to what Niku said, laser and ballistic weapons felt too similar in how they affect shields and armor. Adjustments were made and we're continuing to monitor and tune these differences. Shield and armor resistance values will also be reviewed in future builds. We've discovered several system issues that needed to be addressed first before improving how the stats show up on MFDs and the engineering console. Shield's durability felt too low, and mitigation changes have already been submitted to address this. More updates are on the way, and today's update included a lot of improvements and changes. Your continued feedback helps us validate data and prioritize balance changes. Please keep sharing your experiences on the PTU, and thanks again for helping us improve 4.5. CIG, they want to get 4.5 into as good a state as possible. It needs as much love as possible before release, not just in terms of bugs, but also balance, and getting the numbers good for engineering and combat is key here. Essential. I am really interested to know your experiences of Alpha 4.5. What are you thinking of what CIG is saying about engineering and combat? And have they addressed, or are they focusing on addressing the problems you're having with combat and the cones of death and all that sort of jazz? Or are they ignoring something that they should be obviously fixing? Are you having a great time? Are you having a terrible time? Something that's going to give you the greatest time, maybe. NordVPN! Use the links below or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. You get some better accessibility, security, and privacy of your interwebs. That's some of the top reasons to use NordVPN. Well, I did know that because I use NordVPN. You can use it too. Big discounts for using the links below. Thanks very much for watching. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For December, we are giving away a Kruger Intergalactic L22 Alpha Wolf. Just comment on any video made during December 2025 to be in for a chance of winning that. It does also come with lifetime insurance and a game package. All you need to play Star Citizen and start your journey with a powerful light fighter, or add it to your fleet of ships. I don't know who's going to win. It's kind of random. Something that's not random is your support of this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. And if you would like to like, share, subscribe, that really helps. Commenting helps as well. Also, you might consider clicking the join button under my videos or becoming a Patreon. There's some exclusive videos there. There's some emotes. It helps out the channel more. We are going to be playing a load more Star Citizen. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great December. Tell me all the things in the comments below.